And Shopify Rebellion are your Game Changers Champions!
Long have we awaited, but it's finally time to get started with VALORANT Game Changers NA Series 1, presented by Verizon. A lot of hopeful teams and players hit the qualifiers for an attempt to make it to this point, but now only 8 teams remain in our main event. My name is Sierra Dawn. I'll be your host to kick off the day, but of course, I can't do it alone. I got 2 wonderful analysts joining me. We have Mimi and we have Bala. Mimi, how are you feeling? We have Game Changer season finally here.
I'm living the dream. I mean, we're coming back as world champions after GC champs last year. Shopify going crazy in Brazil, but there's a lot of new teams. I mean, what used to be Shopify last year is gone. The world champs are basically the only roster that's safe. Everything else has been mixed up, so expectations totally thrown a loop for this year, Arden.
Yeah, and it's been a while too, right? Like, it's been a month since open qualifiers. A lot of these teams have changed up a little bit, and yeah, the turmoil that we keep getting, like the rollover of teams coming through, has been fun to watch at the end of last year. So coming into Series 1 here, this is going to be pretty exciting.
Especially, too, we shaped things up a little bit. We had 2 open qualifiers for teams to try and make it into the main event. And of course, winners coming out from our open qualifiers 1 and 2 auto made their way into the main event. For the others, it was circuit points that they had earned here, Mimi. And it's exciting, too, that there was a lot of opportunities for these teams to compete and to keep getting better ahead of this event.
Yeah, I mean, the open quals, I think, were an opportunity for most of these teams who have been shaken up coming into this year to really show what they had. There was a lot of VALORANT to be played, especially if you were competing in both of those events, which everyone except Shopify Rebellion had to do. But this is definitely going to be an example where we're seeing some new talent in Game Changers. Most of those 4 teams you see on the bottom side of your screen, and even with the likes of Passion Project and stuff, have players that we haven't seen in main events before, or maybe have only played 1 or 2 in the past. This is really the Game Changers where I feel like we're getting the most fresh talent since like back at the very beginning 2 years ago.
Yeah, and also like the most like power teams as well,
yeah,
like that are switched up. FlyQuest, you know, the Passion Project in here as well. There's a lot of interesting ones. Plus, I think the teams that you're mentioning here at the bottom, like Supernova, the boys, YFP, these types of teams have, you know, players who have reached the top of the Game Changer scene as well. They're kind of mixed in with some of these new talent that's coming up in the scene. So again, really excited to see what these teams can do, and I think you're going to see more significant challenges throughout the rest of this bracket, or throughout the entirety of the bracket, especially towards the top. Between the top 3, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that actually shakes out.
Especially, too, looking at the event that we have ahead of us. Yes, maybe some of the teams are not quite the most familiar, but a lot of the players that we see returning, they are players that we've gotten to see in previous years here, Mimi. It's just, hey, maybe they're connecting with a new team here. There's going to be new duos that are formed, and I think that's really exciting, since when we see teams kind of split apart a little bit is where we got to see super teams like Shopify Rebellion thrive.
Yeah, we're seeing the most variety in rosters we've ever seen in Game Changers, and I also think VALORANT more generally is in a place where we're seeing some of the most comp variety. When you watch all the different international leagues that have just finished their kickoffs, we're seeing with new maps coming into play, like Sunset starting to really get their meta developed, and with the old maps kind of getting refreshed, there's a lot of diversity. You see so many different comps on Icebox, even maps that we talked about as being solved in the past, like your Split or your Ascent. There's a lot of variety there too, so I think this is a chance for teams not just to kind of find who they are with new players, but also find their identity in terms of strategy and composition, and really have a chance to upset the top teams.
I think that's actually like a recipe for disaster for a lot of the top teams that you might put up there, right? Maybe there's some buffer room for Shopify or something like that, but when you're coming into this with a month of no VODs, even back to the open qualifier, there's a lot of teams that didn't get, broadcast too much, so it's a powder keg, right, in terms of the compositions, in terms of the new rosters that some of these teams have put together as well, that will make things, I think, pretty dangerous overall. It might be really much more volatile than we expect.
Especially if you're a team like Shopify, who's been playing so much, who's been grinding in both the Challengers qualifiers, had to play through the qualifiers for this one, and obviously has every set of eyes of every player in the scene's eyes on them. We always talk about that it's hard to stay on the top. They always stay on the top. But it really is this time with how much these teams in the meta is shaking up.
Hey, even if there is some expected things out there, you know, the Shopify Rebellion factor of it all, there is a lot of unexpectedness, but I want to try and make a little sense of this chaos we have among us, and we have some power rankings coming out for our teams. I'm really making you work for it this time around, you two, but all of our teams that are qualified to the main event, we're going to rank them 1st to 8th, and I think the top one might be a little easy, but...
Oh boy.
I can't wait to see the inevitable disaster where we're then going to say, oh, look how good these look. So disregard everything I just said about Shopify maybe losing. Put them in number 1. Done.
Okay.
Easy. Any contest?
A small contest. They did lose the last Game
Nope, don't
Changers
care.
before heading to the Champions.
Nope, don't care. Next team.
Okay, yeah, I don't care either. You're right. Yeah, sure.
You're coping. Who you got number 2? I think this is kind of a toss-up between FlyQuest and Passion Project.
Yeah, I would say the same, probably. Maybe Passion Project, but I don't know. I feel like that's like bias going back to like last year with Cloud9, like all of that. So I also really want to give it to FlyQuest because of the EG run. So
yeah,
I'm with Passion Project.
I'm kind of in favor of FlyQuest, mainly because of that EG run, and also because they're keeping like the leadership and coaching staff of that team. And I really like the like comps and the innovation they were choosing going into the top level. So I think with more time behind this roster now after the OQs, I'm confident on them. Let's go back to that. Who's the worst team in the event?
Okay, you're gonna say worse like that? Come on.
8 is worst. That's just true.
I'll just put it out there. I'll just put it on the screen. I can't believe we got the control.
No,
to
not
put stuff.
Okay. I'm saying no as if I didn't have Infinity X and 7. I think there's a lot of teams kind of down towards the bottom that did not play a lot of games, honestly, in the Open Qualifier, and those that were played didn't get streamed and were against other unknown teams. For me, the list of teams that are kind of like coin flip is mainly Infinity X and the boys. At least me personally, know a little bit more about SNG, so I'm more
willing to
put
We got a minute 30. You gotta speed
yeah.
it up here. It is
Okay.
not that deep.
The boys. Moving on.
All right, I'm gonna go back to second too. I'm gonna go with Passion Project, despite your real good argument for that.
I'm fine with
for
that.
the FlyQuest.
I think this. Okay, after Shopify, biggest tier gap you've ever seen. A wall 5 miles wide. Passion Project. I actually don't think it's 5 miles
I'll
wide.
just put Passion Project here and then FlyQuest there. And there you go.
Too passion. Okay, fix it. 5 and 6.
Less than a minute, you two.
6 SNG for me. Gotta put him there. Where are they?
I put YFP higher than them. The boys in 7th? Wait, that actually surprised me. Hold up.
No, I think the boys are down there. I think I rate YFP to at least 5th here. I think they've had really good ideas. I like their Euro comp on Bind and some examples like that. I rate their players. They just kind of have inconsistency and just lose games they shouldn't. But
I mean, isn't that like the entirety of anybody outside the top 3 right here?
Yeah, I mean, basically. I think the tier gap after 1 and then 2 and 3 is like all these teams
Decimate here.
Decimate? Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all have 2 passion projects here.
Where's
Mr.
YFP?
Is that correct?
Is that? Okay.
The boys needs to be higher.
No, they don't need to be high. SNG is better than the boys.
Okay. SNG, there's.
YFP
cut us off. This is good. This is good. It's always perfect when we do this.
No, it's not.
It's always perfect.
I feel good
it
about
never backfires.
1, 2, 3. Happy with that. Everything else, I think there is very little space between the rest of these teams. I think there's a gap between FlyQuest, Passion Project, and everyone else, but I think everyone else is honestly so close. All those teams are trading wins back and forth. Some are more known than others, but all of them have at least like one player that I'm really excited about into the main event.
Well, as you said, it has been a little bit since the qualifiers happened, so also going off of some of that information, I'm intrigued going into the main event if this list might get switched up a little bit. And of course, we want to know your list as well. Use that hashtag VCT Game Changers. Share your power rankings. I imagine we're going to see Shopify Rebellion on the top for a lot of them out there.
Nothing can beat ours. Nothing can beat us.
Ours is perfect.
rankings.
Ours is perfect and beautiful. and I love it.
I have never had a wrong Game Changers power ranking ever in the history.
I've never had a wrong power ranking that I've gotten right.
All right, I cannot wait for you guys to be wrong somewhere on this one. But heading into the event, of course, we have to look at our bracket to be starting off our day, because I think already with the bracket, this is where maybe we might start to see maybe kind of cracks here. It's obviously going to be a tough road for whoever gets squared up against Shopify Rebellion first, and that unfortunate task here, Bala, goes to Supernova Galaxy.
Yeah, that sucks. Just putting it straight out there, and that's the problem too with not necessarily performing as well as you could have hoped in the qualifiers, because like you said, it was a shakeup, right? You were running for circuit points throughout both qualifiers. I'm really interested in the FlyQuest game too. Obviously, I rate FlyQuest highly. We put them in third. They could have made an argument for second in this.
They should have been
and
second
obviously
in this.
that also doesn't matter because that's just our opinion anyways. But YFP, I mean, to me, they are a team that could definitely punch up. So I'm looking for upset potential in that game.
Yeah, I think there's definitely upset potential there. And then these middle two games, I think for Passion Project and for Infinity, obviously you're going to be favoring Passion Project there, but I think there could be some potential for Infinity X to do something. It shouldn't happen, but if Passion Project can win that, I think with having a VOD out there of FlyQuest, having beaten them once before and always having really close games, it really is just a 50-50 toss-up for that lower side of this upper bracket.
I'm excited for the Passion Project FlyQuest match later on, but of course that they still have to be winning their respective matches for that. And I'm really excited for the one that we do have coming up first, because of course this will be our look at Shopify Rebellion going up against Supernova Galaxy. For Supernova Galaxy, I want to get to know a little bit more about this team. So we got to hear from SNG Rain for that.
I'm Rain. I play Duelist for Supernova Galaxy. My playstyle, I think I'm more of a passive Duelist in comparison to the Duelists in VCT and like Floor. I just don't have that type of playstyle. I like to play a lot slower. So first we got our IGL Panday. They play Sensi for the team, and I think honestly, their calls and their reads just like make them really stand out as a player. Their ability to lead the team is also very good. And we have Ev, who's like the jokester of the team. They're really funny, you know, just great vibes all around. Played flashes for me. And we got Julia, the controller, and I think she might be the best clutch player I've ever seen. Like, her clutches are just insane every time. And lastly, we have Avery, who's the flex player. Avery's just a great, like, all-around player. They can do any role, any agent. It's just fascinating to play with. As far as Supernova Galaxy, I'm relatively new addition to the team. After the first open qualifier, they reached out to me and asked if I wanted to play with them. And since then, I've just been chilling, playing for them. I think my highest moment was in a FlyQuest Trailblazer tournament, and I just had a crazy game against like a really good team on paper, and I just dropped I think 26 in 16 rounds. It was impressive for me. And then I also have the Shopify win versus the old Shopify on Split. I played very well that game. My lowest moment was against FaZe and GC2, I believe. I was on something to prove, and we had just one first map. We got into Pearl and Lotus, and I just fell apart and I couldn't keep up essentially. Bad games happen, and I realized like I'm here to get better. I can't get better if I don't fail. My goal as a player is just to make it to the top. I really want to be one of those top players, but also I want to be entertaining as well. I don't want to just be able to shoot my gun well. I want people to enjoy watching me play. Anything in the top 4 would be a success for me personally. I think if I get third, I'll be happy. And of course, if I get second, that would be really good for me.
Honestly, looking forward to the main event. I'm excited to see Supernova Galaxy play. I know that maybe on the tier list, y'all didn't rank them the best, but in the past, we got to see some good things. Even though, in their opinion here, Mimi, looking at the qualifiers, it didn't actually go so well for Supernova Galaxy.
I mean, they were losing to some teams you kind of wouldn't expect. They had that close loss against Infinity X. They lost to Dead Orbit, which is like kind of, or excuse me, that was outside of Game Changers, pulling up the wrong one there. But the game I was actually thinking of was against FlyQuest, where they actually had a really good opportunity to close out. It was an overtime game on Ascent that slipped away from them, and then they ended up going out there in the quarterfinals. And that match is really important beyond just being able to kind of get your name out there, beat FlyQuest. That would have been a big deal. But it also now puts you in a position with the seeding where you're facing Shopify in the first round. They now have the hardest road you possibly could to try and make this run happen.
I go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, no good road was ever easy, but they're definitely set up for some difficult times ahead of them, Bala. But talking about the roster and stuff as well, we've gotten to see these players maybe on other squads in the past and stuff too. We've gotten to see some really good things coming out of them. So I am intrigued because, funny enough, this is actually one of the longer standing rosters since they kind of formed more so November, December of last year.
Yeah, and I think that's super important going into an event like this. I think for most of these players, right, they actually haven't played up against Shopify, despite, playing against some of the other top teams in Game Changers quite frequently. So this experience, I think, starting off right away in the double Evelyn bracket against them, no, it doesn't look good for their chances, but I think what you've seen a lot in the past too is teams that go up against Shopify, they get really challenged very early, obviously, but then they go down to the lower bracket and they end up peaking at a level that you haven't seen them before. And I think Supernova has also, exemplified that throughout, the length of the roster by winning some lands, by really dominating when you don't expect them. So for them to make it back to a main event here and start off their run against Shopify, I think may end up being a strength despite potentially starting off in the lower bracket. With that being said, like, we're still about to play this game and we haven't seen them for a month, and we haven't seen Shopify for a month, who just ended up failing in challengers after a pretty significant boost in morale for them, which could be a sign of things to come too.
Yeah, it absolutely could. For me, when I look at this roster, the players I look at in particular are Rain, who has been playing in the Game Changers scene for a long time and hasn't had too many opportunities, but I remember them playing on something to prove and really impressing there. They're a really strong individual in that Star Duelist position, has been constantly grinding out on some of these kind of 5th to 8 main event teams, waiting for that breakthrough. But now you add in a more experienced IGL like Panday to this squad. They've been together for a while. An upset against Shopify is really hard to kind of justify as being possible, but this is a roster that I think, even if they do go down to that lower bracket immediately, can do some damage and really be a dark horse.
Hey, maybe they can learn something if we're already talking about a potential loss here. Learn something going up against Shopify Rebellion. Because looking at this team, of course, coming back from Game Changer Champions as the champions, this team is the best of the best that we have right now. And a team that doesn't really need too much introduction with just the caliber of the talent that we have here.
You know that Shopify is the favorite in the tournament because they have the most HD photos of anyone.
I love it.
They had their media day. They're ready to go. But obviously this squad is the favorite in every Game Changers. Mel and Alexis have never lost one except for the one they lost, but then they won the championship. And that was what mattered. They always talk about their goal being challengers, and while they kind of had that disappointing run you were mentioning, their Bola, they are always dominant in this Game Changers scene. This team has been working together for so long.
Yeah, I mean, they almost made it to challenges, right? They made it to the round of 16, farthest that they've ever made it. There was a lot of Game Changers talent actually making it to the top of the top in challengers qualifiers. You even had Bob's team end up qualifying over there. So it's really interesting for me because that was the closest they've ever gotten. But when they got close, they ended up crashing and burning it. We've seen this a couple of times now with Shopify, both in actual international events here in Game Changers, back with Cloud9 White in terms of Mel and Alexis, and also over here domestically.
I mean, even in
VCT
previous challengers qualifiers, we've seen this happen as well, right? It's kind of the thing of having to break through that big barrier. And Effie's put out this tweet where he talked about the fact, obviously the team was like, oh, maybe we should have been invited, whatever. But he says he was actually glad to be playing in that qualifier because the team was struggling and needed the practice, needed the time. But what I look at with this squad is that now now they have had the time. They have had that month off
That's
to
scary.
revise, and yeah, that makes them a terrifying prospect, especially because that qualifier was on old patch. That was pre-Sky nerf, that was pre-Gecko buff. So much has changed in the last month, and we always know that Effie's and Mel are players in an IGL coach duo who are going to really be pushing to be on the forefront of that meta. So I think it's hard to know if you're their opponent what
For
comps,
sure.
what ideas they're going to bring into 2024.
Yeah, with the staff as they are too, that team is scary going into a new patch. Like, you really have no idea what they, it could revitalize them on the real too. Like, these guys will come out with the meta comp. They are always pushing it last year. So just follow them in terms of what's going to be played here in Game Changers. 'Cause I think a lot of teams, probably in the lower bracket, are going to try to scoop up some of those comps too.
Definitely an excited team to watch, especially with the innovation that they have. So excited to get into the series and check out our map picks and bans for where we are going to be going. We're going to be starting off with Sunset picked up here. Mimi, what do you make of this map pool we got?
What I make is, I'm kind of scared for SNG going into Sunset. Because the last time that we, obviously SNG, this is a map they're good at. It's their most played map. They play the Breach Sova comp, which a lot of teams have been pulling out, and I think it's pretty good. But the last time that Shopify played Sunset was against Winthrop when they kind of fell apart in Challengers, and they were still running the old solo Sky stuff that I don't think is very good. Honestly, it was better at the time, pre-Sky nerf, but I really expect them to come out with a new composition. I would expect some kind of double initiator comp. That seems to be what's catching on with everyone. So you're not really going to be able to prep here if you're SNG.
Yeah, I also look at Icebox as the second map too, and I think that's one that's going to be really difficult. Just knowing the amount of mid-rounding that you can do, just knowing and watching Mel in the past on this map, it's a tough one. I think the map pool definitely is real hard to play up against if you're Supernova. I would have hoped that they go for a little bit more puggy maps, a little bit more random maps, like Ascent as the third here, but that's not the case. Now it's like meta-defining maps right off the rip, and that's, again, when you're looking at unknowns, that's tough.
Yeah, last time Supernova did play Icebox, though, they were running the Arena Jet comp, which is wild.
Based.
I think that is crazy bold if they pull that out about Shopify, but I kind of hope they do. Shopify last time was playing Harbor Viper. I think it's viable to still be running the Harbor Viper comp. I also think the Gecko comps people have been showing on this map are pretty sick. That's my big question. Like, is Shopify going to get on board with, like, the Gecko KO stuff we've been seeing become more and more popular? I would love it if they did.
I feel like Shopify isn't a team that falls behind on anything, so I feel like they're normally kind of at the front of things here, so I'd be excited to see exactly where their minds are going into this, especially too, they already have that prestige behind them, but coming off of Challengers qualifiers and stuff, they are one of the more practiced teams in getting more and more reps in.
Absolutely. Yeah. And with this team as well, when you talk to them, they mentioned that they're scrimming the Challengers teams. They're sometimes scrimming some of the partnership teams. Like, they're playing in competition with, like, the best in the North America region. So I would expect them to be picking up this new stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting too, though, like the dynamic that they have and the dynamic that they showed in the qualifiers too. It's like, this is not their main priority, right? Obviously they're playing in them, obviously they're using it for experience like you're talking about, Sierra, but and getting officials on the books, but at the same time too, they care about the main circuit. They care about everything else surrounding Valorant in this case. And Game Changers is something that they kind of breeze over sometimes, and that causes them issues. But in most of these situations, it'd be much easier for them to just rely on comfort. So if they end up going for like meta ideas, new Gecko stuff, for example, that's stuff that less coordinated teams can really take advantage of, because all the glue isn't throughout all the cracks at that point. So yeah, there's moments where these teams can take opportunities and really hurt Shopify in these cases.
We already know Shopify Rebellion isn't an infallible. We got to see during the qualifiers that there was a couple of maps drop, but when we're looking ahead at Supernova Galaxy, I actually want to switch the conversation to them and where we could potentially see win cons coming out. We've already built up that Shopify Rebellion should take this series, but if the impossible were to happen, Mimi, where would that start?
I think where it has to start is kind of what Bola was mentioning, where Shopify maybe picks some comp, something new, and they look off base. This isn't a team that is immune to having slow starts, to having slow maps. We've even seen it from players like Fluorescent. I think you have to start by putting the preface of it cannot be peak Shopify Rebellion. But even if they're making mistakes and not playing to their best, it still takes a lot to capitalize off of it. If that's to happen, we need to see big games out of individual players. For me in that regard, I'm looking at Rain, who is the star of this squad. And I'm also looking at Julia, who kind of on that supportive role, playing the controller for the most part, can have those big impactful games as well. But it looks like we're hopping into Agent Select here, and Shopify is sticking to the old, and Supernova actually changing up their comp.
Wow.
Hey, Ty. This is interesting. That takes away that win con of, hey, Shopify trying something new that doesn't work, Bala, but quite different comps going into that. So what are your sentiments about this?
Yeah, this is super interesting because, you know, you have the more, I guess, Sentinels-esque comp coming out from SMG, copying, like, some of the new.
It's so weird to say
Shopify.
Sentinels-esque when we're talking about, like, the new shiny comp.
I know, right? Like, that's insane. But, I mean, that they end up topping the main circuit for a reason, and part of it is how they were on Sunset. I actually would think most of it is how they were on Sunset as well. For Shopify, I mean, this is disappointing, but again, like back to my point earlier, this is comfort. This is the places where they won't be able to get taken advantage of throughout the Game Changer series, and you'll be able to see full off protocols that aren't they don't have holes in them, that they have been practiced, that they are drilled, and you don't have to rely on Fluorescent or Stera or Noya or anybody to just go absolutely bonkers, which most of the time they do rely on going through these types of tournaments.
Yeah, generally speaking, I don't really like this Shopify comp post Sky nerfs. I think running solo initiator on this map is a big miss. We've seen the power that the Gecko KO has. We've seen the power of the breach ults. It's just so much easier on your defense to be fighting for extremity control, to have really strong set retakes, and on your attack to have much stronger site execs, have more options in the mid round. It just gives you so many more tools. But Shopify could have come in and locked 5 duelists, and I still would have favored them, because this team just fundamentally... No, it's not toxic. It's like we talk about Paper X is one of the best teams in the world, and they do silly stuff like that sometimes. Shopify, they are I don't know, they're the LA Lakers of the Game Changers scene. Are they a good basketball team?
I feel like you should have checked that first,
But they
before you're making a comparison.
Didn't they have Kobe or something?
Okay, I mean, it depends what decade you're talking about, but sure.
1990s. That's them, baby. Shopify Rebellion.
Kareem
I'm
is
gonna
back.
get out of this metaphor. The point I'm trying to make is that
It's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Let's go.
the point I'm trying to make is the synergy of this team is so good that I think that their fundamentals are at a point where they can play any comp as long as there is some kind of idea around it, even if it is something older. And Mel's IGLing and the synergy of this team and just the individual skill can get them through it. That's kind of what you get when you're a team like this that's on top, that's playing against these lower level squads. But I love that SMG is going the other way, and they're playing full meta, and they're trying the best and brightest new comps out there. If they can implement this really well, I think there is a world where they can take advantage of Shopify on this map.
Yeah, I agree with most of that, but
What
with
do you
this,
disagree with?
the thing is, right? Like, are they just copying Sentinels? Because in that case, you know for sure Shopify is going to be ready. Like, they've seen the Zekin double satchel down, showstopper down mid type of thing. Like, those plays are very readable, and I mean, most teams probably did study those VODs. Shopify 100% is one of those teams, you know.
And SNG's good, but they're not Sentinels.
Yeah, okay, but even then, I'm talking just strat-wise too. Like that's the part that I think can get countered very easily here. With that being said, like they are going for new. They are going to not be, you know, you don't know if that's actually the case. I just think it is, because it's literally identical. Like you have the KO, right, instead of like a breach or something like that, or a fade, which might be something that the teams would start experimenting with. So that's why I have my suspicions with that. And again, I still like this comp better than Shopify's. I'm just, again, trying to spitball between the two different teams that are actually picking here. And yeah, I think it might end up being a little rough, despite me liking it better.
As a viewer, I think things to watch out for in this for Shopify Rebellion is specifically watch Alexis. How is she using the Sky utility? When are those flashes getting used? And in specifically on their defense, what utility do they have available for these late round retakes? Because you have to be very strategic about when you're investing those resources, because you only get 2 flashes, 1 dog. That's pretty much all the reclear utility you get for the whole round. So she's the one to look out for on how she's going to be balancing this. On the other side, for SNG, it's also about watching the initiators with this comp. You're throwing out the Gecko Dizzy, you're comboing that with a KO Flash. That is like kind of an unbeatable combo when you're using both of those at the same time to get one of your duelists in. And I'm really excited to see how Shopify, as you were mentioning, Bala, who should have been watching this comp, end up playing against that.
I'm just thinking back to this. Going back to your point of Shopify could just lock 5 duelists and still their synergy to be able to win. I hate that that's how we're measuring things up, because I think they could. I don't necessarily agree, but like Shopify Rebellion, if we're looking for them to like do more and more, if we're looking for them to keep leveling up, why are they sticking all the comfort with the Sky, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's the first round of the main event.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, I don't think so. I think that's just what they're gonna do this event. I feel like maybe the innovation won't be there.
They did have times in the past where they would like play their chamber comp all the way through and then switch their real comp play. They have layers. We have to expect that from Shopify.
All right, well, I'm excited to see this first layer in the first game here that we have here in our main event. And to take you through that action, well, that's going to be our casters, Gomps and Riv.
Listen, 5 duelists, Shopify Rebellion win is kind of crazy, but they are the top team in the whole entire world. Yeah, I guess they could take it when you think about it. So you're going against the top team, Supernova Galaxy, Riv. They're gonna, when you're looking at it, it is gonna be quite a difficult challenge.
Yeah, work cut out for them is an understatement here. They have to come up with something new just about every other round, right? Maybe something will work a few times. It's going to be read by Shopify, and they'll come at it even harder. Another one is Rukia or Floor is going to be pushing everywhere, every extremity, and that becomes really tough to shut down. Once they stop doing that, you're going to have to see if Supernova Galaxy understands that they can take space again. So I feel like Shopify is going to try to get in their head right away. Supernova can't let it happen. Just have to play their game, obviously. That's kind of a broken record statement, but when you play against an opponent that is going to be this tough, you really have to understand that your win conditions are yours and you can't fall into Shopify's traps here.
Your win condition, I feel like a big portion of it is just like to keep that persistence and that mentality. Yeah. We got everybody here with like brand new resolve as the season starts back up. Everybody's wanting to get that victory to go up to, to do better things, right? And honestly, just gain the points to make it to that big stage. So overall, I would say it is a lot of pressure for Supernova Galaxy. First game coming into the main event and a possibility of being knocked down to that lower bracket run. So definitely feeling the heat of this moment, but at the same time, we did get to see a little bit of Rain talking about just wanting to be that best player, wanting to push themselves past those limits. So
that's so wholesome.
Yeah.
I love that video, talking about everybody on the team. I mean, we can't wait to see Julia's clutches and the rest of what's going on. And if it does happen to get knocked down, maybe they follow the ball mentality there, where he said sometimes the team will find their stride there and just go on a super run and come back right to that grand final. So there's still chances after this, even if it is a tough game. In Supernova Galaxy, again, are going to have to stay on their toes. They have the firepower to do so if they can stick together there. They just can't get caught. Floor on the extremities and the rest of what happens. I like the comp they brought in with KO, because it does allow, like Wallace said, it's kind of readable on some of the situations, but KO does allow for some pretty foolproof pop flashes. You get a good one mid, you can get a good one over pawn shop into a main area, and if it's fast enough, they can get the play. You saw Heretics doing it over in EMEA. They had a Neon, though, so it's a little bit easier to close that distance without hearing bounce, and being able to retaliate. So we will see how unreadable those plays can be, and if SNG can start off strong on the defensive side here. We are getting on to sunset. Sun's gonna rise here for this tournament, starting off. Where are they going? How are they start? Viper Wall is going to be A to start off and set some pressure here for us, Gomps. But that mid pressure already. Quick flash through and retaliate. Looks like it could happen off some timing here for SNG. Wait for now. Wait for now. Back off. So that's actually held. I'm just watching Floor's POV now. So it's going to be elbow control. We see this from a lot of teams first time. It's really hard to dislodge a squad once you get this many people back here. And since they're playing contact, they're going to be able to throw a lot of that util right back in on SNG's retake. All the way to the B side. Great map play to start Shopify off, but it's going to be that SNG retake here. So they have quite a few ghosts. If they start trading with each other, they can definitely deal the damage to get this round.
Yeah, they've kept pretty quiet, honestly, on the defense for SNG. Now, you're looking at that explosiveness coming through from that 5-person retake, which then again, a lurk down in mid from Noya, just trying to gather that information. Slow work up. Now, Paint Shell just pausing this team, trying to keep SNG away from possibly getting the retake. And Floor, absolutely unbelievable. And already just taking away the round by themselves, the possibility of an ace there. And then the defusal, not able to really come through, but that's going to be a very, very clean round win from Shopify.
Floor also just building up the alt orbs. They're clearing out from the elbow side. Once SNG knew with the null, not the null command, the 0 point, sorry, that nobody was close spawn, I thought they'd have a little bit more room, move in. But Shopify, they were just waiting patiently for anybody to peek, really not giving up too much until SNG had to flood the site. And then we're kind of looking to trade, looking for that angle. And first angles are found by Shopify. So we're into the next round. Same pressure towards the right side of the map that Sarah can start to mess with here. And it looks like they will start to gain some B main control. We'll see how often Supernova tries to do this. Set a precedent in the eyes of Shopify here and annoy them with this kind of play.
Oh.
Ooh.
That's going to be a huge opening coming through from F2.
That's ridiculous, especially if they can pick that up in a few here. Since we can't see Shopify get back to protect that, they're going to have to move forward and take the site.
Yeah, already taken it though. Shopify 1-to-1 ratio, still looking for more, unable to find it. It's going to be good shots already moving through. And again, unfortunate position to be in when you're SNG. They did get a good first shot. Yeah. That opening there, but then again, Ev's just destroying with the Sheriff alone. Thought they would have gotten more, but not the way that the world works.
There's actually no weapon on that other side. So Sarah was just kind of going with the regular flank. If they do go down, it's no worries. You just get them to go still. Not a problem for Floor. 6 in the first 2. Ultimate ready already for Shopify Rebellion. And this is going to be a tough first gun round here with Shopify having a key way to solidify it in that pressure.
Can I get a drop?
Not, an easy round to win overall, but I think they did hold on pretty well. Biggest issue, obviously, just trade-offs in general. Kind of a bit of discourse there in terms of SNG internally.
All right. Yeah, they've stacked a little bit towards A now. Right off the rip, Gompers. And Floor's going to get the medium-range stinger on Rain. 2 gets dropped, however, right back. Yeah,
Molly set down. Ev trying to hold back. Not much to it. They've backed themselves off for Shopify. Just wait patiently for this play to slowly work itself off. But the Outlaw now in the hands of Mal, switching it up.
Waiting. Shopify have over a minute. All they need to see is one more peek to feel comfortable. Smoke comes up. They spread out really nice here to cover Pawn Shop and just go for that spawn push to make sure they don't get tagged while planting. This retake, SNG has to figure out a way to get these flashes into elbow, then go forward, then do it again. So first one, open sight. They have the peek from smoke.
Yeah.
So now they can actually get this little roller flash here, pop it right out of the smoke. All three go backside to clear that, and then they can work together to clear the rest of the site.
This might work out well. Oh, smoke kind of dissipating at a weird time there. Still gives Julia some leeway, though, Mel. Alongside Noya. This might work. Spray down was there, and the vision is there as well. Ev left alone, just working the way around. Mount goes down. Somehow, 8 health Ev just clutches, and we got to see that from the Sheriff plays, but I was not expecting to see it this round.
That was godlike. Oh my god, pulling off the spike like that to get the shot down. Ev's absolutely cold right there. No pressure felt whatsoever in the situation. Mel had 0 damage on her. 150 right there to go into the fight. Zeroed out immediately. 6-2-2 Ev. And that was a starting showstopper round from Floor, right? They flew into the site. That's the ultimate that they tried to secure SNG's bonus with. However, a lot of damage done. You got to respect that. SNG still on a low buy even with that one round here. With that hero Vandal.
Yeah, they're contesting pretty heavily down in mid too for SNG. This is aggressive. I'm not used to seeing this, obviously from the 3 rounds that we've seen, but it is definitely something different.
This is kind of what we were looking for from SNG. Put a wrench in what Shopify wants to do in the round right off the bat. Make them sweat a little. And even though Shopify doesn't really have to call too much of an audible here, it's a good read by SNG to try and get some aggression mid with these Sheriffs to start. Same for Shopify. They like this elbow control. They leave 2 pawn shop to start.
And a wide swing. Noya a bit too late to the refract potential there, but still able to peek the angle Floor with a shot. Yeah, you just leave Panday by yourself, and what else more is there to do rather than try to pick these 1v1s off with the Sheriff alone, so...
I must wait a moment.
Yeah, pretty weird position to be in.
Once Shopify is getting the quick read on the site, the hit here, what util they have to use. I mean, you can still see Alexis has a flash there. They're getting into the site, not even necessarily needing to use everything because of their control, knowing SNG was on a low buy and just reading that pawn retake too.
Yeah.
A lot of things working out there for Shopify. This is where it is up to Supernova Galaxy we were talking about before. What can they change every round to keep Shopify on their toes? Looks like they will go back to a bit of that B main push here, leaving A for the retake with Cypher utility. We'll see if this paranoia comes through. Doesn't look like they're ready for it from B main. Julia's still just watching mid here. This is gonna get scary.
Oh, and a beautiful opening there coming through from Rain, but the whiff might have just left them completely harmed in terms of what's going to happen this round. Now they've lost 2 when it could have went a complete different direction.
Interesting. I might have missed it. I don't know if Julia actually had paranoia this round. Maybe they did. I only saw the few smokes come out. It would have been great to have on this play. A Shopify Rebellion take. His 2 are now down from SNG. And now it's going to be the retake. Basically the same retake team here we had as before going into A that was able to win the bonus round for SNG. Ooh. Nope.
The shots just don't miss when it comes down to Floor. Even through the smoke, Floor gets 4. Someone check PC. This is not healthy.
No, it's not. 2 showstoppers in 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, we're at 6 rounds now. But it was collected last round, so math.
Technically, math.
Yeah, math. Absolutely ridiculous stuff. And they're going to be able to create a lot of pressure with this one, too. Last time it created space, we did see a great retake by Supernova Galaxy. Here, their low buy looks like it's just going to keep them in sight for now. Yeah, I actually see this being the play, especially with Thrash up. The moment somebody gets seen here, I could see Thrash being used to try to pick up a gun if they can get one out of Shopify Rebellion's hands.
Yeah. Man.
So looks like Shopify's feeling that too.
Floor is an absolute demon. I'm curious to see how...
It's already gross.
Yeah. Especially now looking into just like this standstill. One peek. It might be over. For who is
no
the
way.
question? Oh, and Rain, unfortunately, finding themselves in a 1v2 situation. Floor just reaching around the corner for another one. And it's a 3K down. Just wow. Can you just keep going like that?
Not sure. She's going after players and families right now. Absolutely wild stuff from Floor, blasting forward and really taking everything
Yeah.
into their own hands, making these plays. A little bit of backup there, obviously, but had to blast back over the mosh pit, so nobody was really following. Yeah. Vibing so far, you could say. 4-1. Looks like it's another round here as Noya picks that up. Sarah with 2 to the Viper's Pit as well, so even more reasons and ways to secure these rounds coming forward. As blood in the water as Julia goes down for a flawless round here for Shopify Rebellion. 5-1. What is the recuperation call here from Supernova Galaxy? They do have a buy coming in. 5 ultimates to roll the dice with, right? Yep. You're probably going to roll high here, too. You have a lot of chances to deny pressure and create pressure. If it comes down to it, you can use the retake for both. Null command as soon as you hear something. There's so many options they have here. I've loved the retake so far from Supernova Galaxy.
Yeah.
They've been able to really get the util in, work together. We saw that back play. But so far, it seems like going aggressive has kind of taken out Floor, put the team off, and made Shopify think twice. So maybe we go right off the rip here down mid with that flash into showstopper play.
Yeah, Shopify are just really good at kind of luring out these fights, too. I mean, Floor, like, first engagement found by whether it be Mel or Noya, and then Floor kind of just runs off on that, and it's unstoppable. The first one is the opening for Floor to really just wreak havoc on everybody, and it sucks. It's almost impossible for SNG to really step back because they are patient, but then they get just ran down.
Right, and then that was what Avery went down. They did lose Rain, then Avery, then Ev. So if you want to get back in the site, you have all those flashes, and now they're gone. So it's like, okay, the idea to get back in is just dwindling so fast.
Yeah.
Floor is finding such high priority shots on these first bloods. The Floor actually going with the showstopper. They try to dictate this round.
Oh, that's got to be good, too. You take out Floor, which has been the main problem throughout the whole entire game. Although the A site completely open, so not going to be too good here.
We see the thought. Null command was used out over there, so Ev's just pulsing out for a little bit. Wonder if Panda, they might go for the Cypher ult here for a quick second in market. And then go back to play. All right, now they'll have a better idea how to get this retake. They'll see Shopify basically photo finish in that position. Elbow and one lurker here as they get into the A site. And here comes SNG's retake again. Quite a few ultimates to do so.
And they're forcing themselves in with the Thrash. This is going to be so good. Possibly taking out Noya. And the Rain goes down into it. In the backside, the showstopper finding something just within lane here. Maybe taking out Mel, but Mel finds one throughout the smoke. Viper's Pit, probably the best placement you can have here because territory not gone. And still attempting to eliminate anybody. Trying to grab hold on that spike, though. Thrash comes back out, takes another one in. Mel better than the rest, although still not done just yet. Alexis spray down, and a victory for Shopify. That was like a battle of the blind. Nobody knew what was going on down in that smoke.
4 ultimates used in one round, and Shopify with the Viper's Pit basically nullify all of them. Ridiculous. Fluorescent baits the beginning of the round out straight up mid. Says, okay, they're calling a timeout. They're going gargantuan with something on these ultimates. Let's make the first move. Blasts out mid into market. Yes, goes down, but pulls SNG over and the null command, so everything else can work over at A. Super heady play here. SNG trying to go aggressive again, though, to get under Shopify's skin. Man, what a round from Shopify Rebellion to be able to avoid 4 ultimates. Come away with as much as they did, too. Smoke towards mid. Map control here is going to be regained. Alexis still full flashes. Mel, just one smoke used so far. They can really take this space safely if they want in the boom bot. Been so timid from SNG.
Yeah.
They have to hope this duo works here and B main to grab this Phantom.
Oh, beautiful refract from Alexis alone. That's gonna be good. And yeah, I love the teamwork there too for Shopify. You always have somebody there to make sure that you can get some sort of refract potential. There goes Sarah, covering up the spike while Extremity completely covered up. At least on the side of spawn there for SNG.
This is crazy. The way they're swarming these sites, Alexis still has 2 flashes. They're paranoia. They came in as well with the dog. So they're able to clear sight after those first 2 kills, understanding what the threat could be and when they need to use the util. So here come the flashes to deny the retake.
Tons of damage already set down on Avery, so it makes it easier to take away. But Julia,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, not able to clutch up the round. It's 7-1 for Shopify, Riv, and this is starting to look quite scary.
It is. It is. Because every Shopify player that's stepping up to these situations, I think Alexis, within the last few rounds, just got a 3K as well. So there's or a 2K. So there's another 4 or 3 on top of it. 7-1-6 there. Fluorescent, 17 and 4. Kind of feeling it right now.
Kind of.
Yeah, entering this tournament on fire. Where do they go from here? We're talking about Shopify for this round. Still this pressure towards A. Default kind of play style from SNG. They've been liking this back and forth through B main and trying to get the retake. But can they keep the members for the retake? They're losing too many before they get their chance.
It's the same repetitive takeover on A, but they keep getting taken down. Avery fighting that alone, despite having so much util.
Exactly. And no reason to not vertical dizzy there for a second as they keep going through elbow. Man, Shopify are moving so quick, winning the 1v1s that are necessary there as we just saw this challenge. And Sarah jump peeking just to the lay, just to get more info as they gather now with Noya to lock down the site.
Well, Paint Show might actually be good at holding this back too. Rain clearing out an angle just to find the other one alone. Slowly working themselves up to it, though. Sarah makes it harder. It's up to Panday to take things back. Headshot not found. So that 2v1 definitely winning things out. Shopify on a streak here.
On a streak. Gold in the bank. I don't mean gold like in the game. I just was making a reference to gold in the bank. But they have so much in credits.
Yeah.
Like, it is wild. They can lose a few rounds, still feel comfortable. And that kind of the game,
One enemy remaining.
what do I want to say? That bit of comfort allows you to play more freely. It allows you to be loose, try a few things, get in your opponent's face, do more that your opponent wouldn't be expecting because you don't mind to lose a gun. And it looks like if Shopify does try something like blast pack mid on a 5 ultimate round, they're still able to come up with the mid-round call that secures the win. Here towards B, the 1 round, SNG don't push. It's going to be a party from Shopify as they run straight into the site.
They've just been getting sight for free on the side of Shopify, but I guess here too, with pistols and classics in hand, it is going to be a lot harder to try to fight things back, though, as a group. Maybe they can find one. Shot's already missed out.
Woohoo.
Luckily enough, Ev finding one, but how much is that really going to hold on to against Phantoms and Vandals? Not much.
Full house.
Yeah.
We got Flora's over Sarah's. Nice job there. 3K and a 2K. Coming through 9-1 here. Did not expect it to be this powerful, at least from Shopify. I expected there to be more picks, more set plays. When you bring that KO onto the defensive side, you have to see some of these pop flash plays that would throw your opponent off. It can't just be a full team push down through B main, over through something. So where we see Ev right now throwing a pop flash straight over is kind of the play you would try to do with your Raze, or maybe even somebody towards elbow, or right from where somebody is top mid, where Ev is right now, also where you throw the other pop flash. And they just haven't been setting those up to try and give Shopify any of this early round trouble, I should say. Here's the first mid play. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, Floor's just running down. Ah, and a great opening there. At least taken out one, and that's just the job. You get one.
Got theirs. Got theirs.
Yeah, I got mine. That's that's pretty much what the comms might sound like there, but.
All right, spike down.
Spike planted.
Push forward still.
Come on. Sarah's just destroying here. Rain, I thought they would have survived just a little bit, but of course every single angle is covered by Shopify Rebellion. Now Viper's Pit too, making things harder. They're just securing the round despite this being a 2v1. It's the Viper's Pit that keeps the control here. Still trying to search themselves in. Yeah, and not going to be an easy round one.
Tough for the util there to work,
Last
especially for
round in
Dizzy,
the
maybe a
half.
wingman, but at that point it was not enough time, not enough util. So 10-1, we have final round of the first half here, or coming up to the final round of the first half, I should say, with Panday's ultimate being up, a few more coming up here. This first map, it's pistol round to Shopify Rebellion next half, right? That's probably going to lock it down. So
Yeah.
it has to be a Hail Mary now to start and continue for the way that Shopify has the read currently. One of those mid plays now coming from Supernova. There it is, actually a blind through the little vent, that little window lattice up there. You can see the top right of your screen for Rain. Wasn't able to get anybody in tiles, but this is good space. There it is. This is what we've been wanting to see from Supernova Galaxy. The defensive side, definitely too little too late, but they're getting an idea on the read, and that can easily help for the way that Shopify and how they can counter, hopefully, Shopify on the next half for a comeback. Here's that elbow play once again, tried and true. They lock it down. Alert coming in from Sarah, and then they take a little bit more space. So Supernova Galaxy have just about everything to get back into the site here. What floor pushes forward?
They're still going for it. Everybody on the extremities, at least a 3v3 here, so it is a lot more fair than what it was before. The SNG, now they're going to have to try to find a way to secure this retake. They've only done it once. But can they do it again? This is where Shopify have the advantage. They're sitting on that post plant, though. 23 health and nice off Ev. Slowly finding the situation. Now the suppression comes through, makes it harder for the util to really shine here. Now just a spray down that might keep the round together, but that's just enough to get the one. It's up to Ev to keep this, and the headshots there.
Again?
Although here it is, the one round needed to bring things back, to at least give them an opportunity to survive a little bit longer, but it's Alexis with a distraction.
Whoa, you thought Ev may be able to do it again. Pulling up that bonus round defuse as we had before, but it wasn't deja vu. History won't repeat itself this time. And it was, you're right, the distraction. A little cheeky play from Alexis there towards the end. The Seeker comes out, your eyes drawn to the cabbages for 1 split second. And that's all it takes. My word. Another 3K there from Alexis. Disgusting stuff. Just piling up those in multi-kills, honestly. Maybe there might be a single frag in there, but I think that's like a 3, a 4, a 3, a 3. Like, it's hard to get by any member of Shopify Rebellion right now. We're going to see what happens second half. Same amount. Yeah, they go for 3 ghosts for SNG. Trying to keep these trades going, and they're going quick. Blind right away.
Down Rain. Oh my goodness. I actually thought for a second that Rain was just going to full speed it down, but of course the pain shell's still available. Maybe taking things down. 4 is in a pretty good spot when it comes down to it, though. Still looking to peak things. Maybe even gain some control there. Shopify Rebellion playing the defense a lot differently from what we saw out of SNG. More aggressive, as well as just put together there.
Little audio cut. Waiting for that retake. Should have Dizzy, right? I don't see it on the floor. It doesn't look like they'll have it. Walk in here. A few bits of util cam for backside, so they'll know what's happening from spawn. And this should be a pretty easy setup until Alexis knows the jig is up. All right. Already 4 to take down for SNG.
Oh, still looking across the angle there. Shopify literally just, they do what they do. They didn't even buy. They didn't even buy.
They will huff and puff and blow your house down no matter what type you build, no matter what defense you set up. Shopify Rebellion comes through again on the post plant. They take the pistol, and it's going to look like they can solidify this with one more. We're getting the buy out of SNG here. There's no other way to go about it. And Shopify will do the same. Pretty wild score line coming out of floor right now. Basically every 3 kills. 1 death and a little bit more.
Possibility here, though. Man, it's just difficult. Like, domination all across the board when it comes down to Shopify. This is beautiful, though. A nice blind leading Rain into the pack. And, of course, some sort of vision being led. Stray, though. Noya left alone, still trying to spray things down. Okay. This might be it for Supernova Galaxy to put themselves on the board again. For maybe a 12-2, but at least a 3v5 on deck. Possibility to find one very high for Shopify.
Paranoia goes across. Trailblazer. Protocol coming through now for Shopify as they hit the site.
Already looking for it. No, Mal with the judge. I guess it's
my word.
better. I'm not even sure. I'm still fighting things. I'm not sure how they're running away with this, but they could pick up a weapon if they please. The Guardian good enough for floor, it seems.
Dance floor.
Around the corner. This might be it.
Oh my!
A possibility, maybe not, but Floor still doesn't care.
And that's why you don't peek. Great play by SNG. Holy macaroni, that was disgusting shots. A little bit of a turnaround 360. I mean, once you do a 360, don't you have like 30 seconds of like passive attack? I think she still had a little bit there from the 360 as they went into the play. Nice job by Floor to get the kill, but nicer job, better job by SNG. The stinger rush, the sight hold, got a little sketchy towards the back, and they were able to call the reset to make sure the defuse could come through. And that's almost a 30 bomb right there.
Yeah.
I like this call.
Oh my gosh.
I like this call. Be like, wait a minute. They got momentum. Shut it down. Timeout. We don't want them to feel good at all. We want to win another round, and then we want to get to the next map. So Shopify's timeout here, really a momentum killer mostly. And then they're discussing how they want to go about the next round. Because you got that time.
Wow. 29-8, by the way. And
yeah, that's high.
I wouldn't be surprised as well if it were like, you know, like a 12-11, but it is 12-2. There's barely been any rounds.
It's almost 4 kills every 1 death. Let's get a few more kills or a bit of an assist in there if you want to count it that way. That's absurd.
Yes.
Almost acing the team every time. All right. It is going to be just the Sheriff Floor. Of course, in second round, has ult again. And we're going to be pushing up here. Shopify Rebellion is going to try to take a main control. And you know what? Supernova Galaxy are feeling that. Have a bit of an inkling that they're going to get pushed this round. We have not seen them doing this so far. I mean, it's been 2 rounds, but they have been trying to take control of the map. This is a lot of respect given to Shopify on that save, on that timeout. Oh, this first peek is going to be the trap play.
Yeah. Oh, super patient. Oh my gosh! And
that
right
flash was
moving
so good.
forward. Showstopper loaded up, and still another. Floor is just not letting this team go. And I thought there for a second maybe Noya would have cleaned things up, but it's Panday and Julia left alive in a 2v4. They have to stick together. Panday is lit.
That was such a nutty trap play. Oh my gosh. The flashbang made almost everybody, the guiding light made him double take. Julia now.
Taking it another. Now Floor just finishing things off with probably, I will say, maybe the 5th 4K that we've seen today come out of this player. But a huge victory.
Back up. I'm too close to the camera.
A huge victory for Shopify Rebellion. I am honestly I would say I'm not really shocked, but at the same time, I really did expect more of a fight coming through from Supernova, but it was Shopify Rebellion's map pick.
Slightly shockified. Yeah, I'd say
Shopify.
so. Yeah, for sure. That last trap play, that's kind of scary for SNG to see, right? I feel like that's the kind of stuff Shopify has under their belt to use all the time. And we did need to see innovation. We need to see, I think, again, the KO being used for more protocols, a little bit more aggression to shut Shopify down. It's incredibly hard to control them on the map. You do try to aggress, and you find yourself getting taken out by one person, and then they find two more. So many multi-kills from Shopify here that just dismantled the way Supernova wanted to play defense, and then Shopify takes the second half and just keep rolling with it.
Yeah, but I mean, as much as I could literally talk about this map and this game in general, because it was super, it was crazy, I'm not gonna lie, but I am really excited to hear the thoughts behind it on the analyst desk. We will get right back to that right after this quick break.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin. In this series, I'm going to walk you through Attack on Pearl. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle. You're going to be able to fight this.
Red Bull gives you wings.